Hello friends. As always, it happens that something falls into disrepair and breaks down. Here and in my old belt sander, the start button flew. Without a button, it's okay to not work anymore, but to search and buy a new button, there was no desire and time. In this connection, to replace the old belt sander, I bought a new one, almost the same, from the category of inexpensive ones, but only from a different company. Well, the old belt sander, continuing to lie in the shed, and often catching my eye, told me with all her appearance, "In vain you left me, I'm pretty good, and I'm lying idle." Realizing that it was not her business to lie idle, and after thinking a little, I decided to make a stationary bed for her. At the same time, having set myself the task of not interfering with the very design of the belt sander, which in principle I managed to do, it turned out a kind of bed where the belt sander itself is attached, while the bed turned out universal, since with a slight modification, a completely different belt sander can be fixed into it. Yes, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and then you will always be aware of my new videos. At the heart of the construction, I used a pad removed from an old railroad tie. A heavy metal plate turned out to be an excellent base, and with its weight, about 7 kilograms, it reliably holds the entire structure on the workbench. Next, to the plate, I welded metal profile pipes. To these profiles, using the same welding, I fixed 2 vertical posts, between which the belt sander will stand. In the upper part of the vertical profile, I weld the plugs. After that, I make a clamp from a steel corner, which will be attached from above, between 2 horizontal profiles and which will actually hold the belt sander itself in the bed. I drill holes for bolts in the upper clamp. After which, through the same holes, I make holes for bolts in the plugs of the vertical posts, and cut the threads. Clamping the belt sander into the bed, using welding, I fix the outer lower fixing strip. After, on the other side of the machine, I attach the rear fixing strips. These strips will securely hold the bottom of the sander in the frame. From 2 sections of a profile pipe, I make supports for the grinding platform. I make a small platform. I weld the supports to the bed. After that, having set the platform at 90 degrees relative to the working surface of the grinder, I weld the platform to the supports. I fix the belt sander to the bed and check the operation of the device. In general, we can say that such a device copes well with small volumes of grinding. The biggest disadvantage is low power and low speed, and therefore metal processing takes much longer than a professional grinder. But, for episodic and short-term works, my product suits me completely. By the way, I decided to try to clamp my new belt sander in this bed, and as it turned out, after a little refinement of the upper clamp and installing a higher pad on the grinding pad, it, in principle, can be used the same way. I painted the bed, and installed an outlet with a switch on it. Now, the plug from the grinder is inserted into the outlet, and provided that the start button is pressed in the machine, the device is started using the switch. I check that nothing interferes with replacing the abrasive belt in the machine. I think that the result obtained is quite good. On the one hand, I found application for an old belt sander, and on the other hand, I received an additional tool, which has now become simply indispensable when performing some types of work. And that's all. Subscribe to my channel, like it, and see you soon.